Hi, I'm Sam Outwine. I am in 11th grade, and this is my second year in student council. And the most interesting thing about me is probably that I can do a really good Shakira impersonation.
My name is Zach Stoner. I've been in student council for 3 of my 4 years, and an interesting thing about myself is I used to be a clown, like making balloon animals.
I'm running for president of student council next year, and all the other officer positions have specific events that they're in charge of, but I think for the president, they're in charge of kind of directing the other ones and taking a look at the entire year and thinking about all the traditions and various events that go on throughout the year and whether things want to be kept, changed, or if new events want to be added. And I think that's really important to just kind of mix things up.
I'm running for president, and basically what the president does is watches over the class and makes sure that everybody's not stressed out and is running their events correctly and just making sure everything's getting done, as well as adding any events that the president feels necessary or just wants to involve the students in another extra event.
I think one of the things about me that makes me good for the position is that I don't have a certain thing that I'm really interested in. I'm just kind of interested in a broad variety of things. And I think it's good for like a president of the student body to have an interest in more than one thing. And also, I think I'm good at directing groups and communicating with groups to try to get things done.
This year I was vice president, so I had a bunch of responsibility under my belt, and I ran blood drive, bread lift, and the talent show. So I think all of my experience is kind of preparing me for being president, as well as during those experiences or those events, I've stayed pretty relaxed and not stressed out, and just kind of a smooth person. So.
Well, right now in student council, we have a committee called the PIN Committee, and what they're in charge of is negotiations and communications between the administration and the student body. And right now, it's part of our VP committee, and our VP, they're in charge of talent show and blood drive and bread lift and a few other things. And I think that the negotiations between the administration and the student body is important enough to be a separate committee in itself. So what I want to do is have the officers appoint somebody who's in charge of the PIN committee, and then they'll be in charge of various things like passing out surveys to the student body and also just walking around at lunch asking questions to students.
This year I started a fund for students that basically helps them out. Like if somebody has lost a loved one, then we just kind of give them a gift card and show our support towards them. And next year I'm actually going to continue that and develop it a little bit further if I am president. And basically that involves the students, the administration, and the teachers all coming together to kind of make up the community that would allow this fund to be successful. And then I also want to get teachers more excited for homecoming, because they used to be extremely supportive and spirited, as well as the students. And I think that would help both the students and the teachers have just a fun year in Portage Central and make the environment better.
Next year, if I were elected president, I would have two main focuses, one of them being communication between the administration and the student body, and my other one would be, at the beginning of the year, looking over all the things that our student council does and all the different events and kind of looking over them, seeing what we want to keep, what we want to change, and also the things that we want to add.
My primary focus would probably be to keep all the officers running and running their events efficiently, as well as trying to keep the class involved and adding just little events throughout the year that would help make the president more dominant, and I guess not dominant, but just out there a little bit more and more important, I guess, as a president. So adding events and just keeping the class.
Well, for me, it's really cool to see people get involved that you normally wouldn't expect to get involved in things. For example, starting a club or joining a club. And this year, I've even seen some people do lip sync that I never have thought would ever do lip sync. And I think when you get people involved in the school in any way, whether it be a club or homecoming, it's just really cool to see. Thanks, guys.
Being president would just mean it would just show me how much the student body trusts me with the extreme amount of responsibility that president brings to the table, and just show me how supportive my fellow class members and friends are of me.